Hey everybody, it's Becky. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend and we're ready to kind of get back into the swing of our work week coming up here for those of us who still work. And I thought I would just come on in and do a little whip and chat. Hopefully, like I said, everybody had a great weekend. We spent the weekend at the lake, as we typically do for Memorial Day weekend. Around our family, it's better known as my husband's birthday. Not to discount the veterans and those who gave it all to serve our country. My husband's a very special man in his family, and we all make sure to take the time to celebrate him because he, as a childhood cancer survivor, almost didn't make it. So he is very, very special to his family. So anyways, I've got 8 sections completed on the Wolf Diamond painting. Kind of pan through this real quick and show you majority of it is down here at the bottom where we have these 5 sections remaining, and then I've got the 3 up top there. Overall, it's looking great. I'm very excited with how it's coming out. And of course, now that I have all the drills that I need, we'll be able to just zip right through the rest of this. So first off, let's go ahead and give our little jar a shake here and pull out what number we're going to work on. Looks like section number 22. So 22 is right down here in the bottom. I know it's kind of hard to see with the light pad on behind there. But it's mostly light colors. The light colors have been a real pleasure to work with because they are a much better quality drill than the darker ones have been. So let's take our little seam ripper and we'll zip this back. Get you guys to where you can see what we're working on here. So we started our weekend with going Saturday morning to my family cemetery, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And every year I have to remind my husband's family why it is that we're going to that cemetery, how we ended up in that part of the world, because they too have connections to that area. So I'm trying to get this where I can reach and you can see. It's best of both worlds. My family has been around that part of the state since the late 1800s. I believe it was like late 1880s, early 1890s, somewhere around there, that my family immigrated over from Arkansas into Oklahoma, and we have been around here ever since. Now, of course, most of my family has kind of spread out from that little town, so we're not there quite as much. My husband's family, his granny still lives in that town, and his parents, of course, both grew up there, and so we don't have as many connections to each other's family as one might think we should, but I mean, they're there. The connections are there. We definitely have some, people within our families that know each other and things like that, which is nice. Working on letter I here. Should probably get some fresh wax. This pen's been sitting all weekend without being used. So let's start with fresh wax. I do keep most of my spare wax in one of these little containers that have the little pop-off lid. When I got my suitcase, I stopped using these containers that came from the Dollar Tree. They kind of remind me of film cases, like 35 millimeter film cases, not quite as tall, but about the same diameter and a similar style lid. Not completely airtight, but it definitely gives a better chance of it lasting longer, I feel. Anyway, so yeah, my family migrated through Arkansas and into Oklahoma late 1800s, and we've been around here ever since. At one point, several members of our family did immigrate over, or well, migrate, not really immigrate, over to California, like during the gold rush days. So I do still have quite a bit of family in Northern California, and then of course here in Oklahoma. We do have family that has scattered worldwide, really. One cousin is actually about to move to Thailand, where his wife is from. They've been living here in Oklahoma for many, many years, and he has now retired from his job, and they had always planned on living in Thailand once. I just realized my ring light wasn't on here. Like, why is this so dark? Anyway, so they had always had the intention of going to Thailand once all their kids were graduated, which has happened, and he's now retired from his job. So this summer they are planning to make the big move over to Thailand to be closer to her family, which is so exciting. I'm hoping to eventually get to go and visit them once they're settled in. I enjoy learning about other cultures, and there's no better way than to go and experience them firsthand. Let's see, what else did we do this weekend? Lots of card playing. Whenever we're together, his family, we enjoy playing cards. We completed, that's not a very good drill. We completed 2 jigsaw puzzles. One was only a 500-piece puzzle, so that took me like a couple of hours. And then we did one, my husband thought it was a 750-piece puzzle, and he started it while I was taking a nap or something. But when I got in there to actually work on it, it was 672 pieces. I don't think I've ever seen a puzzle with that number to it. You know, usually it's 500, 750, 1,000, 1,500. 672. That threw me off a little bit, and unfortunately we only had 671 pieces. We thought this was a brand new puzzle. He said he unsealed it, that he broke the original seal, but there was a piece missing. So we'll be on the lookout for that, you know, over the next couple of weeks or so. Make sure it didn't get dragged off to another room of the house or what have you. We were at his parents' house for the weekend. Lots of space for everybody, beautiful views of the lake, and we had lots of good food. We did a shrimp boil, and we did so it's shrimp and kielbasa, potatoes, corn, onions. Sometimes we do crab in there, but this year we chose to do just shrimp. It was a smaller crowd, so we didn't need to beef it up quite as much as we normally do. What else did we have this weekend? We did one of my husband's favorite meals. I don't really consider it a meal. It's not something I grew up on. But we did strawberry shortcake, which to me, strawberry shortcake is a dessert, where you take angel food cake and you put like chopped up strawberries and like Cool Whip or whipped cream on it. But in his family, it's actually a dinner. They do fresh strawberries, of course, over top of biscuits and milk. I don't like wet bread, so this is something I don't enjoy, but I will eat a couple of biscuits with some fresh strawberry jelly on it, and I will eat strawberries in a little bit of milk or cream, whatever is available that day, usually milk. And of course the The strawberries we've sweetened up with a little bit of sugar just to give them a little added flavor. Other than that, we just kind of kept it simple this weekend and just hung around the house. Went to a couple of antique, was it one or two antique shops? I think it was just one antique shop. Not much luck there. You know, of course, antiquing it, if you don't have something in mind, you're not likely to find something. We just kind of wandered through. My husband is a Coca-Cola collector, but he's very particular about the things that he collects. There's so much modern made like replicas that it's hard to weed out. Even in an antique shop, there's a lot of things that are not antique. When you're buying Coca-Cola bottles and they have a barcode on them, they're not antique. So he's very, very particular about what he purchases in Coca-Cola. He also collects Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is my favorite drink. He really enjoys it as well. So we're always on the lookout for those types of things and the memorabilia for them. But he has kind of toned it down a bit over the last several years because he doesn't want, like I said, he doesn't want all of the like more modern stuff. And a lot of people just see, ooh, Coca-Cola, I'm going to get it for him. It's just, he wants to make sure that it is, something that he really enjoys, as well as making sure that it's, an authentic, antique version and not just not just a replica or a modern piece, because those just don't have the same value to him. Not necessarily dollar value. That's not so much what he's interested in, just the value that he puts on it emotionally. So his collection has kind of dwindled over the years as he's gotten rid of things that he doesn't just absolutely love, which is fine. It's his stuff, whatever he wants to do with it. And of course, people will get him stuff all the time that has Coca-Cola, and he, as grateful as he is for it, he does kind of weed things out once they've been on display in the house for a little while, if it's not something that he really loves. So, what sort of things do you collect? Do you have any sort of, are you, other than diamond paintings and other craft supplies, I've got a couple of antique Singer sewing machines. I thought I was going to start collecting those, and I just haven't gotten into them as much as I thought I might. So I actually need to go ahead and resell those they take up a lot of space in the house. So I don't really have any other like antiques or anything that I collect. I do have a small crystal collection. And I used to collect piggy banks. I've gotten away from that now, but I do still have a few of my favorites on hand. We do a lot of estate sales, so when you go to these estate sales and you see all the same stuff over and over and over, it kind of makes you think about, well, he and I not having any children, who are we going to pass our things down to? So we really try to only get things that we are going to enjoy in our lifetime, and not worry about where they're going to end up after we're gone. So yeah, antiquing, eating, hanging out together. On Saturday night, which was my husband's actual birth date, they did a fireworks show on the lake, which I guess some people thought was for like Memorial Day, but I'm pretty sure they put the whole thing on for my husband's birthday. So yeah, we had a fireworks show over the lake, and we had lots of critters visit. When we got there on Saturday, there was actually a fox out on the deck. Super, super cute. We always love seeing all the wildlife out there. And let's see here. So just enjoyed the nice weather, watched the fireworks show. Basically let my husband control the menu all weekend, which is not unusual even when it's not his birthday. So that was pretty much it. Anybody else do anything fun over the weekend? Do you guys just hang out with the family, or do you have any certain traditions? I know Memorial Day is it's an American holiday, so I know Hoya Bella, you don't celebrate Memorial Day, but in Sweden, is there a holiday to memorialize the veterans who have given their life for the country? Or, I don't know, you guys aren't, very big on, so I've got a weird little crease there. You guys don't do a whole lot of military interaction over there, so you may not have anything similar. But yeah, Memorial Day weekend, we honor those who have given their life in the military. Yeah, but a lot of people nowadays just use it to celebrate the unofficial beginning of summer. So lots of cookouts, lots of people out on the lakes and camping and things like that. So plans for next weekend, I do have to go back out to the cemetery. Our family cemetery only allows you to leave items out for a week at a time. So I will have to go back next weekend and pick up all of our artificial flowers that we leave out there. Otherwise, they will end up in the garbage. I don't like that they do that, but I understand they don't want the clutter in the cemetery, so I will make a point of getting up early on Saturday next weekend and going to get those things picked up. Make sure that we got thorough cleaning done on all the graves. I'm pretty sure we did, but there were so many people there, which I loved seeing all my family there and everybody pitching in to help. There wasn't a whole lot of organization to it, though, so everybody was kind of doing their own thing. It looked great when we left, but I do want to make sure that any like grass clippings and stuff are swept off of the headstones. I know more will end up on there once we leave and they cut the grass again. But we do what we can for now. Let's see. I don't have a whole lot else going on. This week is going to consist of working Tuesday through Friday, and then, like I said, going to the cemetery on Saturday. I have a quilting project that I really, really need to make some progress on. I need to start it. It needs to be completed by the 4th Tuesday of July. So I've got to get a whole lot of that done in a real quick time span. And I'll show you guys. I'll do a short or something of it once I get the progress made on it, show you guys how that's coming along. I've been quilting for, I don't know what, 7 or 8 years now, something like that. And I'm very involved in my quilt guild. We have monthly meetings. We have quilt camps where it's basically just ladies getting together for like 3 days worth of sewing at our local fairgrounds. I do lots of activities with the ladies for my quilt guild. I definitely enjoy having their friendship. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have a little hitchhiker in there. It's kind of interesting to see the size difference. I don't know how close I can get on that, but just the size difference between the round and the square. It's not much. I think the round ones are like 2.8 millimeters versus 2.5 millimeters, so they're not tremendously different, but they are enough different that you can't cross the canvases with them. So the canvases are not interchangeable between the two. Just a little interesting factoid about diamond painting there. So yeah, this particular project that I need to work on, every year we do what we call a twisted mystery. So one person volunteers to take charge of this project. Sorry, you are still like super zoomed in there. My goodness. Okay, there we go. One person takes charge of the whole thing, and they go through and they swap around everybody's fabrics. You're given a large envelope, like a manila envelope, and you stuff that with fabric as much as you can, really, because, I mean, projects do take quite a bit of fabric. And you mix those up, and the person in charge will pass them back out to different people. Now, you don't know whose project you have, or whose fabric, rather, that you have, until the reveal party. And so you do have to make a completed project. I have not started mine yet. I've picked out the pattern that I want to do, but I've not actually done any work on it. So I will definitely have to get busy on that, because it does have to be completely quilted, bound, everything. It has to be 100% complete. So I definitely need to get that done soon. It's a very time-consuming process. I think the pattern, though, that I chose is simple enough that I should be able to get through it relatively quickly once I get started. Looking for letter L. I'm sure you guys are screaming, there's more right there. There's one right there. But anyways, like I said, I can definitely show you guys a little clip of that once I get some progress made on it and get it completed. And that way you can see some of that artwork. Another project that we do in our Quilt Guild is what we call a pizza box, where you take a box, which they're usually like a 12 by 12 inch plastic box that a lot of people use for holding like the 12-inch scrapbook paper, is what they're intended for, but they work perfect for quilting as well. We go through, again, you put in your fabric, and in this particular project, you complete blocks for another person. So you just have to create 2 quilt blocks of that person's size request. So in mine, I didn't put a specific size request. I told them they could put in any size that they want, and I will figure out how to put them together later. And so I did ask them to complete a block that looks like a flower. That was the only requirement, is that it looks like a flower. It can be any size. They can use any color combination of the fabrics that I put in. I put tons of different reds and blues and pinks and greens and yellows, just all the colors that you think of for flowers. And then whenever I get that back at the end of this guild here, which we run from January through November, once we get our boxes back, then we've got, in theory, we've got 20 blocks to put together into a quilt. You know, occasionally somebody will forget to bring a box with them, or they will, you know, life happens and they don't get to complete the blocks for the person whose box they have. And so, I mean, you may not end up with the full 20 by the end of it, but hopefully so. That's the goal. But yeah, that's the 2 big projects we're working on right now. And then I've got Another project that will start in June, we have a speaker coming who's going to talk about color theory and, you know, choosing good colors to go together in a quilt, and how you can work with different colors and, you know, incorporate different parts of the color wheel, things like that. I can't remember what all she talks about, but it's all about color theory. So at that meeting, anybody who chooses to participate in our new project will have the opportunity to come and draw 2 crayons from a bag, and whatever 2 colors they get, they'll need to incorporate into a quilt together. Now they can add one more color to that if they choose to. We will allow that within the rules of the project, and they can use any shade of the color that they can make that crayon create. So if you get, say you get a red crayon, you can color very lightly with it and get more of a pinky color, or you can color darker and get more of a mauve, you know, maroon type color. So they'll have some flexibility in there of what they're able to get depending on their crayons. And then at the end of the guild year, they'll show their progress that they've made on that project. Hopefully it's completed, but if they only get like the top of it together and don't have it quilted and bound yet, that's fine. We're this one, because it's not being gifted to somebody, we're not going to be as particular on that part. With the Twisted Mystery, you're giving the person back a completed project out of their own fabric, so a little bit stricter on that particular rule. So is anybody else here a quilter? I know Lazy Retired Granny doesn't, sorry, I keep hitting the cable there. Lazy Retired Granny, I know, does her knitting. But let me know what other crafts you do. Let me know what you did for Memorial Day weekend. Leave some comments down below. I love talking with you guys in the comments. And I will talk to you guys later. I will let you know before we go. I do want to go ahead and draw my next number, because I plan on getting this done tonight and hopefully getting on to another section before I go to bed. So my next section will be 21, so we'll just continue on down the road here. So, all right, well, that's all I've got for tonight. You guys have a fantastic day, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.